Yo, this is it. I'm Mr. Faye, and you're listening to Attack of the Beats on IllMuzik.com. Here we are once again, another 5 beats, and I'll get to that in a second. But first of all, I want you to make sure that you check out different parts of IllMuzik right now. I mean, I just updated the digging section, so right now you have, well, before there was just a bunch of break beats that you could download, which is great, because break beats are great and all that. But plus, I also added just now is a section where it's a list of all classic break beats that I've been using in all these famous hip hop tracks and all that stuff. So it's all listed from YouTube. So you just click them. Opens up it opens up the YouTube video, and you just watch that. And most of those breaks are in the break beats that are listed anyway for download. So it's all there. But if you want to watch the video, or not all of them are videos, but want to watch it that way and stuff, and it's a great way to check it out. But it's also a great way to check out your hip hop history, right, and learn some stuff. Because I'm sure there's a lot of new guys out there, a lot of new beat makers, young guys that are just starting out, and a lot of them don't know anything about that stuff. So it's a great way for them to check it out. If you're one of those people, I suggest you check it out, and you'll learn a lot of stuff, man. I'm sure you're going to recognize a lot of those break beats. Trust me. All right, so we'll get right to it. First up, we've got Brandon Brown with Through the Walls. Let's check it out. All right. Okay, so that was Brandon Brown with Through the Walls. So this track, it's interesting because you have a really nice drum track. Nice percussion and everything. But it's those keys, like the synth keys and all that. I mean, they're good, but honestly, I think that they're more or less like the type that should be in the background, like not like in the background where you don't really hear them. I mean, I would say just lower the volume of them just a bit, and bring in something else as the main lead instrument, because for that thing right there, the keys, it's just that they're not really like a lead, you know what I mean? So I think that, because I was expecting something like a synth or some strings or something to come in as the main thing and just have those keys in the background. So because they do get a little repetitive, so I would really like to hear it like this, but with just something else on top of it. Just and that way these keys would just kind of complement the main instrument. I think that's what would really make this beat stand out, because right now I think if you had, let's say, some rapper on top of this, it would be okay, because that like it's essentially acting like the lead, right? So those keys would be in the background. So that's why I think I think you need to focus on that more rather than have just the keys as the main part, you know. But other than that, I mean, it was good. The drums were great. The bass is good. It was a little too low though. I would like to have heard more of it, but it was nice. I liked it. But like I said, it was mainly those keys, man. I mean, I would just change that shit up and have something else on top instead. So, but other than that though, I really like the beat. Some good shit. All right, so next up we've got Dringy with Sawtooth. Let's check it out. All right. Okay, so that was Dringy with Sawtooth. All right, so this beat, I really like this because it sets a nice tone, right? There's a nice mood to this beat. Because, you know, a lot of times people make beats and it's just, you know, just a beat, right? There's nothing to it, really. I mean, anybody could really do that. But when you have a beat where it's, you know, it really sets the mood, that's what really makes things stand out, you know? Because it makes people, you know, want to listen to it, want to listen to more of it. Plus it makes people feel something, right? So that's what this beat does. It's nice, you know. You got a nice drum track, nice bass. You know, bass could be a little lower or whatever, but you know, it's very good. Nice solid foundation you have there, and the main music you have, the main melody. I mean, it's nice. I can hear the like your string pattern you got going on there. Like it sounds like some samples, maybe. I'm not sure, but like there was one part where I heard a few times where I heard like it sounded like, let's say, 3 bars of your strings, and the last part you have this like a different sound of the strings, and that part, I don't know which one, you know, if you know which one I'm talking about, but that last let's say the last bar of those strings, that's what really sounded nice. I was like, I wanted to hear more of that part. The other part was okay, but I really liked that last part. It would have been nice if you had to really stretch that part out some more and really played along with that some more, because, you know, it just kept going on, and it didn't, you know, even though it really sounds nice, it just, the strings, I don't know, just kind of like, it's like there's no set pattern, let's say, you know, it just kind of sounds like that, you know. But it's too bad, because I would like to have heard, you know, more of that one part of the strings, you know. So it's hard to describe, you know, just talking and stuff, it's hard to describe it, but it would have been nice to hear that, you know, because it is a nice beat, very smooth and all that shit. But, you know, I was just expecting you to, you know, just to have that part a little more. And you did bring in like some other parts, you know, on top of the strings, and that was nice. Like it was kind of like some subtle keys maybe or something, and so that was really good. But, you know, again, like that's something I would have liked to have heard more of, rather than just, you know, it's kind of like you're just floating in and out, you know, with different parts of your samples and stuff. So, which is okay, but I just would like to have heard more of a structure on that. But other than that, though, it's a really solid beat. That's some good shit, man. All right, so next up we've got Playground Narco with Hush. Let's check it out. All right. Okay, so that was Playground Narco with Hush. Is that your name? Let me check it out. Playground Narco. Yeah, okay. I don't know. It's hard to keep track of everyone's name sometimes, man. There's so many people. It's like, okay, whatever. All right. Okay, so no, this beat's really good. I like this because you have the main thing is the drum pattern. Okay, it's a nice pattern you have. The drums sound good. It's a lot of good percussion, a lot of good stuff you got going on. So I really like that. It's a solid foundation there. I would like to have heard the bass up more because it's just a little too weak for my liking, let's say. And the reason why I'm saying that is because of the strings. Okay, now the thing is that with strings, I mean, I love using strings. Okay, but the thing is that they you have to be very careful with strings. You know, I mean, a lot of people don't realize that. You know, with certain instruments, you have to really think about what you're doing, because sometimes, you know, you can't just take, let's say, you know, electric guitar or something, or like a piano and just throw it in there as your lead instrument, because it depends on the beat, right? With strings, especially with strings, because when I'm listening to it, it's like I can hear, you know, it's from a keyboard, right? I mean, you're taking these strings from a keyboard or whatever. It's not like it's something that's like you have an orchestra in your studio, right? In your bedroom studio or whatever. It's not like you got some orchestra there and they're doing all this for you. I mean, you know, so because of that, I can hear it's like a digital sound, right? So because of that, I can hear like it's kind of like hollow, you know, like the hollow, like it sounds like the strings are in another room, let's say. And it doesn't really go with the rest of the track, you know what I mean? So that's why it's like it's a little bit nitpicking or whatever, but still, it's just I can really tell, you know. So that's why the thing is with strings, that's the type of instrument that you want to have in the background. I mean, yeah, you could have it as in the forefront, you know, have it as your main lead or whatever. That's fine. But like I said, I mean, if you have an orchestra with you, I mean, yeah, it's going to sound wicked. I mean, it's going to sound really cool, you know. But when you're playing with, you know, certain, not just strings, man, any kind of synth or whatever, you know, you have it as your lead. You don't want it like blasting too loud. So that's the main thing I took from this beat, was that the strings were just too loud. You know, just too much in my face. I would have liked to have heard it more laid back, more chill in the background. Not necessarily have something else on top of that, but just, you know, just make them a little more subtle, because it's a little too strong, you know. So because the main thing is your drums. Your drums are the main point of the beat, you know. So it's not always about just, you know, putting together a production like this, even though it's a really tight production. You know, sometimes you got to really think about what instruments you have, where they're going, and what should be the main focus of your beat. So in your case, the drums are the main focus, so the strings should be chilling in the background, I think, or a little less, little more subtle. So, but it's solid though, solid work. All right, so next up we got Rod Rock with Dream. Let's check it out. right. Okay, so that was Rod Rock with Dream. All right, so I got I got a bunch of why is my voice all fucked up today? Anyway, I got I got a bunch of break beats, a bunch of drum kits and all that, I should say. And in there, I'm always going through them, trying to find something when I'm making a beat or whatever. And sometimes, I find something that sounds really nice. It sounds good, but it just thumps a little too much. It's not like, it doesn't really go with the snare or whatever, So I ditch it, or I cue it or whatever, So in your case, this is the thing. I mean, you have, I love the way you chopped up the sample. Okay, it sounds great. I would like to have heard more of a variation of the sample, because it is nice. It's just that it's just kind of looping the same pattern over and over, but it is nice though. So in that case, I know sometimes with the samples, not much you can really do. You're just really stuck with, a certain pattern or whatever. So, but you could have done a few things. For example, you could have, done like the traditional 90s style or whatever, where you just drop out the highs and just filter in the lows, and have that as like a change up or whatever. But for the drums, like I like the snare, the hat sounds good. It's the kick, man. The kick it's too thumpy. That's the thing. It just takes away. So, it's not a big deal, but that was the first thing that I heard. It was to me, the kick was just out of place. You know what I mean? So, it's a good drum pattern, though. It's a simple drum pattern. And the main thing about this beat is your sample, right? You did a good job chopping and everything. So, it really keeps me listening. So, that's good. But like I said, just to me, the kick just takes away from everything, because it's just kind of, too much in the mix, But other than that, the sample's really good, snare's good. Just try to have some kind of change up in there somewhere, because it's just a little bit of a same pattern, So I mean, it depends though. It could be like you're using this for some MC or whatever, and that's fine, because an MC just wants a loop or whatever, but in this case, Attack of the Beats, you want to have a 2-minute beat where you're showing what you could do with it and stuff. So yeah, just add a little bit of a change up, whatever. But yeah, other than that though, good job on that. I like the sample flip. That's some good shit. All right, so next up we got the last beat. It's Sugar for Beats with The Highest Point. Let's check it out. All right. Okay, so that was Sugar for Beats with The Highest Point. All right, so in this one, right away I was thinking about the other beat I was just reviewing, where it was but with the strings and everything. And this is a good example of what I was talking about. Is that even though the strings are the main lead of the beat, it's not overwhelming. It's not in my face. It's mixed well. That's the key here. It's just like it's laid back, subtle, but it's still the main point of the beat. So I really like the strings. I like the string work he did and everything. Although the drum track, though, to me it was a little weak because the kick could have been a little stronger, and the snare was just kind of flat. Just nothing to the snare. Just kind of, I didn't even like it at all because the snare was just I don't know. It just kind of spread out the wrong way. I don't know. It just kind of just didn't sound good. I don't know. I mean, it's hard sometimes. You want to find a nice kick and snare. Sometimes you just like, whatever. You make a beat, and later on, you go back to that beat, you listen to it, and you're like, what the fuck was I thinking? This kick and snare is whack, So, but no, in your case, they sound okay. It's just that I just think they could be a lot better because, especially the snare, it just sounds a little too flat and all that. But the thing with the strings too is that once you got towards the end where you have the higher string coming in, it sounds good. But to me, it just, I don't know, it's weird. It just kind of makes the beat sound a little empty at that point. So to me, one thing I like to match up a lot with strings is some keys, right? Some like a Moog keys or something like that, something smooth, So if you can add something like that, and just a very, very subtle pattern, add that in with those strings, I think it would make it a lot better. Because right now it's just, the strings are fine, but it's just, as you keep going along, it just kind of sounds like, just like I said, it just kind of makes the beat sound a little thin. Because strings are not really, really thick. I mean, you can make them thick, really, but in your case, they're not. So if you could add a bit of thickness to your beat by having some smooth keys, I think that'd be a winner right there. That'd be a nice beat. And change that snare, man. It's really bothering me. So, all right. Okay, so that's it for me. I'm Mr. Fade. This is Attack of the Beats. Keep sending them in. I keep reviewing them. And my favorite beat this week, the winner is, drum roll, please. Dringy with Sawtooth. Let's check it out.